Hi everyone, my name is Jessica with fulfilledandabundant.com, and today I get to interview these two amazing people, Kumari and Braj, and they are the founders of Arni Wellness. How are you guys today?
Doing wonderful. Yeah. Thanks for asking. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm so excited to get to talk to you guys. We were talking a little bit earlier, and your foundation of Ayurveda and the way that you incorporate everything is fundamentally what I believe. And the way that you bring out the greatness in people is amazing. Do you want to talk about, let's start with what does Arni mean? Because I really love that story.
Go ahead.
Sure. So Arni it's a type of wood, and it's written in the ancient yoga literatures that it's actually such a specific type of wood that already contains fire within it. So when you want a fire, like the fire is already there, but it just looks like a piece of wood, but the fire is already there. So our goal as healers and as wellness providers is to just ignite that fire that already exists within each of us. So that's what we try to do. We know it's there. We know that spark is within everyone, and that's a huge foundation of our philosophy and lifestyle. So we found a lot of connection with that word and thought it was a perfect fit.
Oh, amazing. And so with your lifestyle, can you give me an example of how that shows up in your lifestyle? Because I think that's so interesting.
In our own lifestyle, like
yeah.
Our own practice. Yeah. So I would say that her and I both have a very different, well, it's not too different. It's like how we came to Ayurveda and how we started to implement in our life. So how I came to it was at a young age. I just started studying wellness practices, and I came across information about the different body types, which would be like Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Vata being more of like
it's air and
ether body type, which would be like characterized like more skinnier people, like people who get cold easier, and oftentimes have weaker digestion. And Pitta body types more fiery body type. And they tend to run a little hotter. They have like more fiery digestion, and they're more medium built. And then Kapha would be more like an earthy, watery body type. Is that a good way to put it? And they have more like larger body structure and slower digestion. So
now these are all generalizations.
They're all generalizations. I'm just
as like a very brief overview. I tend to nitpick when we talk about Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, because I think it's really important that we don't just add those as an identification for ourselves, because we actually, each of us contains a unique combination of all three. So it's actually important to get to know each of the three so that you can understand when one might be, in excess or in, not enough. But yeah, we each have our own unique constitution. So while these are nice generalizations to help us understand ourselves and other people, it's also important not to get so caught up and identify or even misidentify with only just one.
Right.
Because they're actually referred to as doshas, which means imbalance. So in one sense, they're categories, but in one sense, we don't want to necessarily
identify ourselves with an imbalance.
Yeah,
right. I think more like a resource compared to like a label. If you identify with the label, then you're automatically wrong.
Correct.
But if you recognize the resource, you have something to work with and adjust, and okay, this is where I can tweak. Right?
Yeah. So, and exactly. And then I'm seeing how this kind of incorporates to our spiritual philosophy, even, is that we seek not to label. We don't identify with the body. I'm not identifying with the fact that I'm a female Caucasian born in New Jersey, you know, like I try to avoid those designations because I want to identify inherently as who I am, my essence as a soul. And so, and when I can do that with other people, even clients who come to me and have all these issues, I'm trying to see them as that spark, that essence, that soul, and not the imbalances they're experiencing, and how I can help them return to a better state of balance and back towards their original nature, their original constitution, and identifying more as the soul.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. I love that.
So I just want to finish with my train of thought.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
So yeah, basically I started to come across the information she was talking about, and it just kind of was a little seed planted. But then it wasn't until down the road I had a leg injury that I started it was a leg injury that no allopathic doctors could figure out, and basically I just resorted to trying to find natural ways to heal it. And I came across Ayurvedic body work, and one of my friends introduced me to it, and he gave me a session. We started talking about Ayurveda more, and that's when I started to study it on my own time, because it really impacted me, and I felt like I didn't have to just live with a bad leg. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hurt my leg, now I have the weaker leg, or now I have this chronic problem. I didn't have to live with that. There are tools out there to help me be able to revive that. The body has incredible ability to heal itself. So I just started to study Ayurveda that way, and that really helped me come in touch with, and the more I got into diets, and the more I got into just the mindset behind it, helped me understand like myself more actually, and how I could ground myself out, and help me in my meditation as well. And just the whole journey through all of this, actually, I found like I was discovering there's more of who I was. It was something that's already there, right? Mm-hmm. It's something that's who I am, and at least to a certain level. In Ayurveda, they call that prakriti, right? This would be original constitution, which is without imbalance. So coming into contact with that, and then also from a coaching perspective, I started studying coaching the last few years, and the philosophy behind coaching is that every person are whole and complete, and they have pretty much they have all the answers within themselves. They are who they are, and they have the potential to be their most true, authentic selves. And it's just the layers, of the, onion of conditioning that keep us from acting how we really want, how we're meant to act, really. So that's how I have experienced it for my own life, and because I've also done a lot of work myself, that I can help other people find that within themselves. Not that I impose anything on them, it's just, guiding people to go through it. Even in body work, I also do some body work. That's the whole meditation, is that they have the potency to heal themselves, and I'm just here to facilitate that. Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. That sound good?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Very comprehensive.
And then what about you? How does that act in your life? How is that relevant in your life?
Well, I kind of already shared, but if you want me to,
that was more philosophical, then, or not philosophical.
I guess it was more philosophical.
That was more like information. But what about you?
Well, what was your origin of coming into Ayurveda?
Okay, sure. So, I am a nurse by profession, and I had been working for a few years, and I got a new job, and I hated it. I mean, to be quite frank. And I would come home every day, and I would just be so drained and so tired, and I wasn't even working every day of the week, and I was still feeling so drained, just no energy, just like wanted to be in bed. And And then I heard a teaching from one of my friends that actually when we don't live in alignment with how we should be acting and serving, that we can actually feel drained in this way.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is so true. And, you know, I had heard about Ayurveda, and I've always had been interested in going like into more natural medicine. And even while I was in nursing school, I was just like, oh, I think one day I'm probably just going to do the natural stuff. But, you know, here I am. So let me just finish it out kind of thing. And so I was just like, I need to do this. Like, I need to learn more. I need to get into this because I just feel so out of alignment and with what I'm doing and how I'm spending my time and how I'm, you know, serving. Like, I just was like, this is not it didn't feel like service. And to me, like, you know, if we're going to invest our time and energy into something, like, I want it to be and feel like real service. Like, I'm actually helping and being of service. So I connected with my dear friend who teaches Ayurveda, and I started learning. And shortly after that, we both were trained in marma therapy to do hands-on body work, which comes from Ayurveda and another Veda as well. And that was beautiful. And that just like added to the experience of just like living in, like learning and living what Ayurveda is teaching, you know, slowly but surely. There's so much. It's such a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah. How amazing. And so as you were learning, what conscious shifts or things did you notice happen that kind of helped you to shift into alignment so that you were closer and closer to your original?
So one thing that's really helped me is diet.
Okay.
I've been trying to get my diet down for many years because I've had stomach issues in the past. And I follow a doctor who's given me a specific diet to follow, some do's and don'ts like that, like any good doctor. So a lot of it has to do with regulation and eating things at the right place and the right time, or at least consistency, and certain kinds of foods at certain times of the day, even certain times of the year, right? So something, for example, let's just say, what's a food? Let's just say say I have a breakfast of stewed apples, which is a common one, and oatmeal, right? I had that today. Stewed apples first, and then oatmeal right after it. And then I feel good. Like I feel nourished, I feel energized, I have, you know, I feel nice. And then, but then if I have pizza for breakfast, then I can tell you it's different.
I mean,
you know,
I think we might have done that. Like, we all might have had that pizza for breakfast that one day or many days.
Yeah. And then you realize it's like, okay, you know, like, I love pizza. Don't get me wrong. I love pizza and there's a time and place for it. But having it for breakfast, I could see like, oh man, it puts me off, or, you know, or I get, some stomach issue. I feel I feel out of balance, right? So that's something that I've noticed how it's in my own life, how it's very black. I mean, in a very black and white way, how it's affected me, how it's benefited me staying to the diet, but also not fanatically. It's also, we try to follow 70-30. 70% of the time we follow our diet, and 30% of the time, like, there's some, you know, room for ice cream or pizza. But we try to do it in a way that's, you know, we don't go overboard.
And we've also equipped ourselves with the tools to like know how to make up for it, essentially, and not feel bad about it. Because I feel like so much when we speak about diets, there's so much like guilt or pressure associated with it, and then you end up just like eating what you wanted to eat or what you were craving to eat anyways, and then you overdo it or whatever the case might be. Like, but we kind of have learned to do it in a balanced way where
and I know that, you know, things can can fluctuate for each person. And I know that you work with that and you take that into account when you're working with people. But can you go a little bit more into the timing? Just because I don't know about that. And I'm really into diet and I don't know about the certain timing of foods.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry. You want to say it?
Yeah, can I? Is that okay? I like this part because I get this part. So the whole idea is regulation and like same meal, same time, and not skipping a meal. So, for example, having breakfast every day, 8:30, for example. That's what I decided. It doesn't mean everyone has to have breakfast at 8:30, but
it should be within like 2 hours after awakening, approximately.
Okay.
Because you give the body a chance to wake up, to get everything moving and going, so that you're ready to digest something, and also to drink warm water in the morning before that first meal, because it helps. It just helps. Like
gets things going.
Yeah, gets things going.
It gets things going. Gets digestion going. It hydrates the system. So having a light breakfast but a very nutritious breakfast is one that's easy to digest. So that's why we like doing something like oatmeal. But we're talking about timings. Okay. So and then so then
but throwing
like in general with timings, it's also important to honor our urges. So when we feel hungry, we should
eat,
respond and not ignore.
But then there's like false hunger.
Yeah, there's also false hunger, which is a little more specific, which can come, in a certain stage of digestion. So typically,
like right now, I'm like, I could eat right now. I'm like, okay, but really, I just need some water. If I drink some water, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the between meals, you'll often experience hunger, but normally it can be appeased either with water, and if it's not appeased by water, you can have some light fruit or dried fruit that's been soaked. So that's like a perfect snack. So it's not too much, not having a whole meal between meals.
Dried fruit that's been soaked.
Yeah, because it's easier to digest that way.
Okay.
And then for lunchtime, it's also important to have lunch at a time that you're already digested. Like say you had breakfast, it takes 4 hours to digest, 4 or 5 hours, depends on your system.
Like 4 to 6 hours, depending on who you are.
And then have lunch, and lunch is the main meal of the day in Ayurveda. It should be a big lunch. And that's usually like her and I, we go a little more all out for lunch. We like to make many things, but they all complement each other. And we also try to do it seasonally. Our breakfast can kind of not be seasonally, and it's kind of like the same thing all the time, ideally. But then lunch, it's right now we're doing
like seasonal vegetables,
squashes, and what else? We got squash in there a lot. White rice is always good for basmati. White rice is very good for summertime. It's very cooling. And we use a cilantro and avocado. Like these are really nice things for the summertime.
Yeah, and just lunchtime in general for timing, because that's what you asked, is it's nice to eat lunch when the sun is at its highest point. So when the sun is the strongest, our digestion is strongest. So that's when we can have that big meal of the day, is when the sun is at its peak. And you can look these things up according to where you live in the world, like when that actually is. We can also go outside and see if it's, the sun's strong. But that's kind of a good indicator.
Digestion correlates with the sun. So it's think about the sun's it's like the sun's lower in the sky in the morning time, so lighter breakfast, right? And then lunch, it's right there. It's like a peak of the sky. It's, the hottest part of the day.
And you're also like doing things during the day. So you need that fuel, that nourishment.
Yeah. And then think about later in the day, the sun's going down, it's starting to dwindle.
We're winding down, getting ready for bed, work is over.
So that's where now we're coming to an evening meal. The evening meal should also be very light. So soup is nice. Mm-hmm. Or maybe something sweet that's not too heavy, and ideally 2 hours before the sun goes down. because the idea is like when the sun goes down, your digestion is like weak or non-existent. So yeah, so having like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock this time of year is an ideal for like a late, later
So
meal.
you want to have like finished eating your last meal about 2 to 3 hours before you plan to be like to go to bed.
Yeah.
Because you want to make sure that you're fully, or at least mostly digested before you're sleeping. I think it's many people know that when we sleep, our metabolism slows, and so this is a very important factor to consider.
Yeah, and actually, if your body is trying to digest food while you're sleeping all night, it's using all that energy that your body would be using to restore your whole body to digest some food sitting in your stomach. And a lot of times people have sleep problems because of that. Or they wake up and they're tired, or they sleep too much, right? Because the body literally, like, it needs to rest every night to restore its energies.
And it's not resting if it's
Digesting.
working on something else.
Yeah, so the whole idea is it's time to rest all the organs at night. Just no work, just rest.
Well, they are, yeah, that's so interesting because the body is working, it's just working in a different way. And it just like we only have so much capacity to do so much during the day, the body also, you know, when we go to sleep, the body's still working.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a whole machine. So yeah, that's a little bit about the timings.
Okay, that's so cool, because I didn't really know how important that was.
Yeah, and going to bed early is nice too. For we also learned that in coaching, at least in my coaching education with Jai Shetty.
You got certified with Jay Shetty?
Yeah, I did. It was awesome. It was a really wonderful program.
Yeah, do you want to talk about that?
Sure, I could. If anyone wants to get a referral link, I'm just kidding.
Yes, we'll include that in the notes.
I get some points. But anyway, I'm not here for that. But yeah, actually, I was how I got into coaching. I've been doing it for years, actually. I was a monk for 8 years, and I mean, when you're a monk like 4 years, you're considered like a senior one in a lot of circles. So I was like training people for like 4 years, and yeah, I did a lot of coaching. I helped a lot of people help themselves basically in their spiritual lives and their regular lives, and got to meet hundreds and thousands of people around the country, traveling and things like that. So I did a lot of informal coaching. At that time, had a lot of experience working with people and discussing, issues and how they can improve. So I already had that in me and I had a lot of experience, and I liked it because I felt like I'm kind of like a problem solver by nature. My wife's nodding her head. I try to solve problems, and I try not to solve her problems. Anyone who knows anything about relationship dynamics, the husband should not try to solve all of his wife's problems.
I think that's a natural male tendency, though. Men like to solve and fix things. And... She's
like, "Oh, I'm feeling tired." I'm like, "Well, have you tried this?"
I just need you to hear me.
That she just wants me to empathize. Yeah, but anyway, I like working with people, and so I was part of this course that required us to have like a project, to form a team, and it's like a strategic planning project. So what came to me was that our little nonprofit needed a coaching network. So
I was on his team.
It came to me, and I just was like, okay, let's do it. So I formed a team, and along the way we realized that we needed some trained coaches. We had one, and another one was informally trained, and then I was like, well, since I'm the leader, I'm just gonna do the coaching, and I'm training. And I started looking online. I was like Tony Robbins and all these different coaching companies, and there's so many out there now, and some are like 2 weekends worth of classes, and some are like a year, and some are 2 years. There's so many different categories and styles. And then I noticed Jai Shetty's was popping up on my Facebook feed, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Jai Shetty's doing it. And, you know, I'm a fan of his, and I met him a couple times in New York, and we have the same guru, and, you know, I have friends that know him and they love him. And I was like, well, yeah, maybe we'll take his. And I was on the fence, and then I have a friend who was taking his course, and she showed me it on her computer, and I was like, whoa, this is really cool. So I thought it was very professional, and I like his style. I like his approach to wellness in general, just his approach to coaching, and then he uses a lot of meditation. He uses a lot of wisdom from like ancient texts like Bhagavad Gita, and he packages it in his own unique way. I really like that about his presentation. So I decided, okay, I'm going to take it. So I dropped the cash, and which I didn't have, but somehow it came at the right time. And then I said, okay, I'm going to use this money to pay for the course. It was like, it was around the time people were getting unemployment, and I was doing a service, and I had lost my service, and I filed for unemployment, and I got all this money, and I was like, okay, well, I don't want to just take this money and like, you know, just live with it, you know, just like use it for basic necessities. I want to invest it in something that I can use later on, like as a career or as a service. So I invested in this course, and I took it, and it was wonderful. We had so much support, and there was like 1,000 people taking it at the same time. So we had this whole like forming network, and I still have good friends from it, and I had an awesome supervisor, and it was just actually a really transformative program for me. Even if I'm, you know, I decide halfway through, I'm like, even if I don't become a coach, this is amazing. I'm learning so much about myself, and I'm connecting with so many people, and I can use this in communication with anyone I meet. You know, just being able to empathize with people and hear people and listen to people and reflect and to see things from other people's perspective, because there's a lot of training in that. And it's really emphasized to empathize. But yeah, it was actually a really wonderful program, and I've been still getting into that line of work. I mean, I am doing it.
Yeah, I think the evolution is forever, because I have two.
Yeah. I'm like, I could say I'm a coach, but I still think I'm becoming a coach, you know?
Right.
It's like, especially for me, it's like to feel qualified was a big thing for me, because maybe you heard of imposter syndrome, right? It's like the perfectionist. Imposter syndrome. Like I could just keep getting more and more certifications and more certifications before, and I could have like 20 certifications on the one topic or niche that I want to get into, and I still may feel like, you know, but I don't know if I really am qualified to help facilitate. So that was a big deal for me, and I still feel like it's a daily,
it's
something to work on.
Yeah, forever.
But there's evidence that I've helped people, and I am, and that is what I have to remind myself of.
Yeah. I think everybody has imposter syndrome, no matter if you're super famous or just starting out. And, you know, and you grow forever as a coach, a good coach, like I know you are. You just keep growing. You got this step. Okay, I can help this many people. Now I'm going to grow again, and then I can help this many people. And it's, you know, and then you two as a team combine your forces, and that's incredible.
Yeah, it really only takes one person. I found if you can just help one person,
right?
If you can be there for one person, that makes all the difference. Because I mean, one of the first people I ever coached, I only had one session with her, maybe two, and she messaged me, because we were gonna have like a bunch, and she messaged me and she's like, you know, I feel like I don't even have time for coaching because of the session we had. I'm like totally absorbed in what I want to do. And she just went, and she's still doing it. Like a year later, she's blasted off and didn't need more than one or two sessions, and just being,
fire like that.
Yeah, and one person. That's all it really takes for
Yeah.
us to make a big difference in the world. Because that one person's gonna influence so many people, and and
Butterfly effect.
share. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. And do you guys teach as well, right? In San Francisco?
Okay, yeah. So why don't you tell us about our little project down in San
Oh,
Francisco?
sure. Well, I was just thinking from an outsider's perspective of him taking Jay Shetty's certification course. I thought it was just so incredible, the connections that he was able to make with people from all over the world. And specifically someone he did practice sessions with lives out here in California and actually met up with us at the meditation center in San Francisco, and which we're both currently volunteering with. It's called Bhakti SF, San Francisco. And Bhakti is the yoga of love, and basically in this center we teach mantra meditation, which is what we also practice daily, and basically, yeah, the science of self-realization is basically what we try to spread and share because it's impacted our lives so much. And it's been really amazing, actually. So many people have been coming, and just to see their hearts so full with what has impacted our lives as well is just such an incredible experience, to be able to facilitate that.
That's so amazing.
Yeah, the place, the one, we've actually been involved in similar projects around the country, but this place specifically opened about 4 years ago. And it's been in many different spaces, but right now we're located off of Folsom Street down in Soma in San Francisco. And anyone who's watching this who wants to come, you just type in Bhakti SF, because they might move locations again. They've also discussed trying to find a bigger place. Yeah. Because the truth is,
we're already outgrowing the current space, which is exciting.
Since we came this year, the place has, I mean, doubled in attendance, maybe tripled some nights. Like the last 3 Thursdays, it's like we couldn't fit more people in here. I mean, maybe a few more, but it's like it's packed, and it's, you know, it's a very consistent crowd, and plus a few new people every week, and the people just feel like they're part of a family. You know, it's a difference. You know, there's different kind of yoga studios out there. Some of them are very commercial. Some of them are very family oriented and heart centered. And even when you go in there, you feel that way. And I would say that this specific space is very family oriented. And when I mean not necessarily blood family, but spirit family. I feel like when people come there, they feel like they're joining a family, like a group of people who really look out for each other and who care for each other and who like genuinely want to support each other in whatever endeavors they're pursuing in their life, especially the spiritual endeavor, which I feel is so much neglected in this day and age. You know, I mean, people are so concerned with the exterior world, you know, like how am I going to make the money here? How am I going to make the money there? And build here and there and there, and you know, build our little empires, basically. Yeah. But what is often neglected is what's going on here, right? And I was just watching a video of Jim Carrey. He's another big proponent of self-realization and wellness. And I stumbled upon some video about him, and he likes to tell people he hopes everyone are able to get all the money and wealth and fame that they desire, so they could realize it doesn't make them happy. Because that's what happened for him. You know, he had everything, you know, everything he dreamt, and then he realized that he wasn't satisfied, so he started to go within. And so we want to be able to be there for people who want to do that, you know, and encourage people, because it's the same philosophy of art and wellness, that we have potential. You know, each of us have spiritual potential. It's all within. And the real potential is our potential for service. And we all have our unique abilities and we all have our unique talents that we can offer a service. So really tuning into that and being able to connect it with divinity, that's really what Bhakti is all about. The yoga aspect, Bhakti, yoga.
Are you actually doing movement, like, down sunrise?
Yeah. Sometimes we do.
Fridays we do yoga. Yoga asana, so yoga positions or postures.
Okay.
Go ahead. I've been talking. You can. But what's the differences of the yogas? Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, you were about to say it, so go ahead.
Let's you say it.
So in essence, yoga comes from the word yoke, which a lot of people don't really know what that means nowadays. Most people think of eggs when they hear yoke, but we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that kind of yoke. Yoke, it's just like a device that was used to connect two cows or horses, bulls together. And so yoga means to connect. And so when we are talking about bhakti yoga, it's not postures or positions.
Okay.
It is
that
yoga.
could be helpful.
Yes.
We actually do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So no, that's a great
just
point.
one little side.
Side note, great point.
I do it every day practically. So.
So yeah, yoga is to connect. And what are we connecting with? We're connecting with our true essence, our true selves in relation with divinity. So that is the essence of all yogas. So even yoga postures, all these different methods of yoga are actually meant to bring us to bhakti yoga, to have that understanding.
How beautiful. So you're doing spiritual yoga or energy yoga. You're not doing the movement postures that I think of yoga, that I think a lot of people think.
Well, we do have that once or twice a month. Like tomorrow, for example, we have
yoga and dinner.
So it's yoga and dinner. I mean,
it is yoga asanas. So yoga, like a real yoga class, or real yoga, like what you think of when you hear yoga.
So we have a certified yoga teacher come and they teach class, and they're usually people who already volunteer at our center for other nights. So tomorrow is our friend Carly, who's Jivamukti yoga instructor, and she comes and teaches class, and they have vegan dinner afterwards. But she teaches Bhakti through the program, and the thing about Bhakti is a lot of chanting and the cultivation of mindset, because a lot of what Bhakti is really just our mindset and our intention, in our consciousness and awareness when doing something. It's like the
ability to turn everything into a meditation.
So when we cook there, right? So we cook nice vegetarian meals, and you could go down the street to another place that cooks nice vegetarian meals, but they might have a different intention of how they're cooking the food. So our intention is we're cooking as a service. We're cooking as a devotion to divinity. So we're not doing it to enjoy ourselves. Actually, we're preparing it for like as a service, as like an offering, as not for our own pleasure, but to satisfy the supreme enjoyer, the supreme divinity. So that's our whole meditation through the whole thing. So we're not thinking it's like, oh, this is some like really great pizza, I can't wait to eat it. We're like, that's second, it's like we are offered first, and then we have.
And we don't even taste when we cook. So we just like learn how much salt things need. and
But the place down the street, they may do it for profit and for, I'm not saying every place doesn't want to like give some offering to, offer vegan food to people, but it's a little different. It's like we're all volunteer here. We're all doing this as like a selfless service. We're trying to cultivate it that, at least. So our
consciousness goes into everything.
That. Yeah. But even if you're a nurse, like say she's working in a hospital, she could be like in total consciousness about just making money and whatnot, or she could be in consciousness, I'm doing this as a service. I'm doing this as a devotion. I see this as connected to divinity. I see this as like me being able to express myself. through this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's
So
all very,
if
it's
you-
a thin line, you know? It's like I could look at her or another nurse and they may look like they're doing the same thing, but they might be in total different consciousness, you know?
So I 100% believe in that, and I practice meditation several times throughout the day. When I'm doing my dishes specifically, I try to like feel how the water feels and be as conscious and as present as possible. But so for a lot of people that don't practice this yet or haven't even heard of this kind of approach, are you able to think of a time, just for comparison, of a time that you had an intention of getting things done fast or to make money, compared to having the intention of service and bringing out the best in somebody else, or deeply nourishing? Are you able to, like, this is kind of an impromptu question, so
yeah, I think I
think
I understand. Like, okay, so even when I was a monk and I was going around passing out books and I was getting donation for books, since we're so conditioned to do things for something else, you know, in exchange for something else. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Like, we obviously need to make money in this world, right?
Right.
I mean, that's.
But I believe there's a different outcome when
Yes.
you hold these intentions.
So yeah,
He's got good stories.
So I will explain. Like, when I was going around and distributing books, sometimes if you're in this mindset that you're trying to make enough money for the day, you know, because we have like a quota or something or a goal, you know, trying to.
Monks have quotas?
Huh?
Monks have quotas?
We do it as like, I mean, even we have a little competition with ourselves.
They do like friendly spiritual competition because they want to help each other like grow and do more and do better.
Yeah,
So.
it's kind of like a, you know, we're like 20-year-old guys, you know, and you know, we're from America, so we like that stuff. So we gotta dovetail what our propensities are. So yeah, we were like, you know, I might have like, okay, and you know, we have some, you know, we have to still like pay the bills and things like that too. So it's like, you know, it's there. So yeah, I'm in my mind, I was like, okay, like I need to get donations. I need, you know, if I'm just thinking about that, then hardly anybody will take books from me. It seems like actually when I'm like trying to present it, people are just like, no, I don't want it. But then when I switch and I'm like, look, I just want to get the message out. I just want to get the books out. I just want to pass out the literature, help people that way. And then automatically, right when I change my mentality, then automatically the money comes. It's like a byproduct of doing service, right?
Yeah.
So if you're doing like what you're supposed to be doing, you know, what your soul is supposed to be doing in the right consciousness, then the money will automatically come. It's just like anything, you know. If you're it's like watering a tree. If you water the roots of the tree, then all the branches and all the, you know, nuts and fruits or whatever, they're automatically benefited. It's not.
But
like
if you're just trying to water one leaf, you're just trying to water the money leaf, then it doesn't work out.
But automatically, if you do it, if you go to the root, which is the consciousness, the self, and you just work in that way, then automatically all the other things just fall into place. And it's just like, actually today I saw Kumari, you know, right when we were about to do this interview, she got the call from the board of nursing, and it was such an anxiety for us, like for days. And we just kind of like said, okay, well, it's up to, you know, we give it to the divine. You know, we're one of the words we call him divine is Krishna. So we say, it's up to Krishna now. We'll let him deal with it. And honestly,
but not that I wasn't endeavoring. So like, there's this balance of
endeavor and reciprocation, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we still endeavor in the world, but we also realize that, you know, many things are out of our control. And if I can do this in the right consciousness and try to do it as an offering with devotion and love, then I will experience reciprocation, like he was saying, like as a byproduct.
I love that.
Beautiful. So if people are like, oh my God, you two are incredible. How do I work with you? Can you say your website again? And I'll post the link in below.
It's just rnewellness.com. And then where we volunteer for free, and where we're every week, Thursday at 6:30 and Fridays at,
Yes.
Thursday at 6:30. Well, Friday is the yoga class this week.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
It's not every week, but Saturdays at
Sundays.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sundays, but it might be Saturday soon. Anyways, I'm gonna say it over again. Thursdays at 6:30 and Fridays at 5 as of now. Wait, did I say Friday again?
You did.
Oh my gosh, I'm losing.
Just check the website because
just check the website. I'm losing.
We just moved here to be
Thursdays
frank,
and
to
Sundays.
Give us some slack.
Thursdays 6:30, Fridays
okay.
Thursdays 6:30, Sundays at 5. Got it. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, so our website, our personal website for our practice and what we do and how we would love to serve anyone who's out there listening is RNE Wellness. So it's ARANI wellness.com.
And then Bhakti SF is
just BhaktiSF.com.
BHAKTISF.com. And all the information's there. We do retreats too. We just had a wonderful one out in Woodside. And it was 60 people came, and it was so awesome. And we're planning to do more, maybe even like longer retreats. It's a lot of fun. So if anyone is in the Bay Area, wants to come check that out, we're there. You can meet us there. Meet lots of cool people there, like-minded people.
Yeah. How fun.
And we hope you'll come sometime.
Yeah, I know. I wish I knew about the Woodside one.
Next, we'll have another one. Don't worry.
Okay.
We were all so excited about, like, afterwards. It was so awesome.
Yeah, we started. We were like, okay, we got to plan the next one.
Yeah, we got to plan.
So we felt very enlightened.
Was it at the meditation?
No, it's at a friend's house.
Oh,
he's got a
Our
pretty.
friend has a couple acres of land, and it was very generous to let us come and host us there. So.
Oh.
He wants to have more.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you guys. This was
thank you so much.
Yeah, your presence and your just your smile and just when I first met you, and not everyone who knows this, we met at this spring that comes out of the mountain up in Marin County near Sinton Beach, and people just come out there and fill their jugs up with natural water. Here, show our friends out there. We had like 4 of these, and she had a few of them, and we were just talking, and we started talking about things we talked about today. And we gave her a card, and she reached out to us, wanted us on here, and I think we've met some lifelong friends at that little spring over there. A lot of like-minded people like to go out there.
Life-giving water and life-giving friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you for considering to have us here. We're very grateful.
Thank you. This was such a fun conversation and fun connection. And yeah, I'll probably see you at the watering hole soon.
Yes.
Yeah, we got to run out of water. We got to go soon.
And I would love to go to your events as well. So they sound really fun. Yeah.
All right, let's all go.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
The Bhakti party.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. You both have an incredible presence as well. So I appreciate you demonstrating what you teach and facilitate for other people.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. And we'll talk soon. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everyone out there.